and welcome to Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. And today, joining me, I have a very special guest, the owner of Net Pro Studios LLC, training center and school, and one of the hardest working men in all of professional wrestling currently, the Road Warrior himself, Mr. Daniel Jones. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be here. My fans and myself have some questions for you, Mr. Daniel. Are you ready?
I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to rock and roll. And I've been looking forward to this one.
Awesome. So, Mr. Jones, let's take a journey back to the very beginning for you. How did you break into the business? Who trained you? What was the professional journey like to get where you are today?
Well, I started in a warehouse in West Memphis, Arkansas in 2008, learning from Nightmare Ken Wayne.
Wow.
One of the original Nightmares. Of course, Nightmare Danny Davis, he went on to create OVW. I was probably about if I had to take a stab at it, I was probably about the 10th or the 12th student of Nightmare Ken Wayne's that was actually, fresh and had never stepped in a ring before, right out the gate, and just, started out as a beginner with him. And went from being a beginner and going and having matches and everything, and working my way up of his ladder and everything, which I've actually adopted for Net Pro. We do beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and that was the way I was trained. So we do a little tiered system there. And but I did 4 years at his school. And about 2 years into his school, I was actually given keys and given the responsibility of training new people. So I took on that responsibility after one of the main trainers. He actually got signed by FCW before NXT was NXT and was in the Performance Center, and they actually had a Performance Center. It was FCW. So he got signed to FCW, and that was my buddy Kevin Nickel, and he wound up being Knuckles Madsen in their farm system for FCW and everything. But back to my journey. Spent about 4 years there. I had a choice to make once I got about 4 years in, and that was just that I wasn't really going to graduate his system because there was nobody left around to wrestle me. To graduate through his system, you had to wrestle for an hour straight. Wow. And in front of people, you had to wrestle for an hour straight. And there was just really not anybody left to wrestle that could go an hour with me. And I realized that. And his system, it was intense. It was intense. I watched a lot of people come and go through his system, and some people came in and they realized that wrestling wasn't for them day one. But 4 years in, I just kind of just said, I can't really come in here anymore. I made a decision that it had kind of really taken over my life, and I made a decision, and I told Ken, I can't come in here anymore. And I handed him the keys to the building and everything. And I said, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I just can't come in here anymore. And I went kind of on my own after that. Spent another couple of years in different independent companies around the Mid-South. I would go to Union City, Tennessee. I would go to Selmer, Tennessee. I'd occasionally wrestle over in Arkansas. I got a chance at television, and that was another thing. TV produced product that he was putting on local TV in Mississippi there too. So I got the opportunity to be on TV day one, and that's something I count as very lucky.
That is very lucky.
Not too many people get that opportunity day one of being on TV. Especially back then, the internet was just coming into age. Facebook wasn't even really a thing.
Right.
It was just really getting to be a thing in 2008. And, all the live streaming, all that stuff, Nothing.
It wasn't even
Nothing.
possible. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You to have TV production, you actually had to have
TV production. Yeah. You had to have a crew and everything.
So since then, I've come to appreciate production and all facets of it, because I actually helped build his first TV studio, which, that's a funny story in and of itself. October is my Wrestleversary. So I'm 16 years in the business in October. So, and here we are. So, but it was funny. He always joked over those 4 years that literally I came in the door and 3 weeks later, we literally tore the school apart and put it back together again as a television studio. And, we put on live shows weekly there on Fridays, and we're recording them and sending them off. And they would be broadcast on, I don't know if it was public access TV. I don't think it was, but it was actually a station in Mississippi that we were on. I think we were on My Mississippi. So, but excuse me, still getting over sinus infection.
It's okay.
But we were on television in Mississippi for good 4 years straight there. And cranking out a good television product as far as I was concerned. A lot of local guys didn't like what we were doing. We were doing a lot of shoot wrestling. And that was Ken's thing. A lot of our guys knew how to wrestle a lot better than what the local product and what the local guys did in Memphis there. So, when we'd go out and we'd get on cards and everything, the guys would be like, "Oh my God, you practically ate me alive." And I'm like, "Well, I know how to wrestle." So that's the thing. I was like, I wanted to be known as a professional wrestler that could wrestle. So that was the thing. It's like Dean Malenko was always my guy. As everybody goes, to Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero or, the other guys or whatever. Dean Malenko, I'm one of few people I've
Very few
as the guy that I liked. So, but I'll jump back into our timeline here. As we're 5 or 6 years in. I'm real good friends with Downtown Bruno. I actually run his Facebook page now and help with his bookings and stuff and everything on podcasts and different things like that. And he was one of my really good friends. And at the time, he was on the road with WWE every week. He'd be at TV. He'd be all over the place. And he finally said something to me one day, and me and him were on a show together. He goes, "You're ready." And I was like, "I'm ready." I was like, "You're ready? I'm ready for what?" And he says, "You're ready to go. I'm going to get you an interview." And he got me my interview with WWE. And I went to WWE for an interview about 5-6 years in, and got one-on-one interviewed by William Regal, Brooklyn Brawler. There was an intern that is no longer working for WWE that worked directly under Triple H. And he was in the room, and I didn't realize until the interview was over, Paul Heyman was in the back corner.
Oh, wow.
So I was seen, and it was really, really an eye opener, just to see. It's always an eye opener when you go and you're extra talent. I've had the opportunity to be extra talent backstage at WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown several times now. It's always an eye opener when you see that huge machine in action. Because it's just, you walk in there and you're supposed to be there about 2:00 in the afternoon, and they're putting the ring together. They're putting the lights up. They're putting the Titantron together. It's just, everybody's got a job and everybody's working that job.
And everybody's doing it together.
Yes.
They're all working together. Whatever their job is, they're working it together.
Yes.
We had the opportunity to be a part of a live event last year with them. And that was one of the things that really opened my eyes. As we got there, it was about 1:30 we got there, and we were the second non-actual wrestling people that were there. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "We want you to watch this." And as they started putting the ring together, you don't realize how many hands are going on to the product. They had 15 or 20 people just putting the ring up. And then they had a crew of 20 or 25 people putting lights up. And then they had another crew that was bringing in cameras and bringing in the angles, bringing in everything for them. So it's definitely an eye-opener to see that from a first-person perspective. And then also to move in and do different things like we're doing now, is coming from the interview section and the podcast section and go, well, I want to get this person and I want to see this person, and just knowing the right people. And that was really eye-opening for me. Go ahead though. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You know, it is. It will change your perspective on the business to see something like that happening and going together and see what goes into a show. Because you don't realize it. You don't realize it as a fan. You walk in, they open the gates, and you just think everything's been there for days.
Yeah.
No, it's been there for hours.
Hours.
Together, you know, it got put there together 3 hours ago. And, you know, then they opened the doors. So, yeah. But I decided after my WWE interview, and my biggest criticism at the WWE interview was I didn't look like a wrestler. And I was like, I don't think you guys have hired wrestlers in 10 years. I was about 2014, 2015. So, you know, that was my biggest criticism from them, was I didn't look like a wrestler. So, but sitting down, I got to talk to William Regal for like 6 hours straight, like one-on-one talk with William Regal for 6 hours straight. And it was an eye-opener doing that, because you realize it is a round-the-clock job that they're offering, okay? And it's 300 days a year on the road, plus you're away from your family, you know, and you're all, you know, and I slowly realized through that interview process is like, I don't think I can be away from my family that long. I really don't. I don't think I could handle it. It's like, it's hard enough sometimes being away months at a time for just my shoot job and you know, doing that. So I realized that, you know, I'm a family guy and I can't handle being away from the family. So I chose to stay at home and just, you know, do my own thing. I kind of got away from in-ring action for a few years. In those few years, I moved from Memphis to East Tennessee. And then about a year or two here, I had already hooked up with Tony Givens in what was NWA Smoky Mountain, but is now Innovate. And I was doing ring announcing for him, and then ring announcing turned into commentary. And then commentary turned into, you know what, I think I want to get back in the ring again, because I'm starting to notice nobody in East Tennessee wrestles like I do. And I'd be a very unique addition to the area. And so I said, you know what I want to do for my 40th birthday? I think I want to have a match. And I did. I went to Tony and I said, I think I want to have a match for my 40th birthday. And he says, okay. And I said, well, there's another place that's down the road. Should I go there and get ring ready? And he says, yeah. And I said, okay. Well, I went there to get ring ready, and that turned into me running that place for 4 years. So,
wow.
If you know me, you know what place I'm talking about, but I won't mention them. So
that's okay. That's not a problem.
So yeah. And you know, from there, that 4 years, you know, I wound up doing the same thing that I did with Ken. And, you know, I walked in and I handed my keys one day and I said, I can't come in here anymore. So, and then it made me realize that my goals in wrestling are not everybody else's goals, and that I really wanted to do something to change the business. And a year and a half, we searched for a building, and a year and a half of planning, a year and a half of putting everything together the way I wanted it to put together. And lo and behold, the building pretty much just fell in my lap. And we created NetPro, and NetPro's been a thing for 2 years now.
And you guys have had lots of success with NetPro LLC, NetPro Studios LLC.
I chalk it up to me being other places and seeing mistakes made. And that's not even in recent places. That's 16 years back, what mistakes were made. What mistakes were made training me. And, you know, what mistakes were made in the first 4, 5, 6 years. I chalk all that up to being able to make NetPro successful, you know, because you're not going to right off the bat get into the business and be successful. You're not. It's just not happening. And it took me 16 years to figure out the formula. It really did. It took me every bit of the last 16 years to figure out the formula. And now what it amounts to is like Net Pro is literally 2 minutes that way. Like I said, the building just dropped in my lap. I live within 2 minutes of the building. When I clock out of work at 5 o'clock, I go straight to the building and I open that building and I work for another 4 hours training whoever shows up, Monday through Friday, and then Sundays 1 to 5. And, we run shows on the weekends. Right now, I made the post the other day on Facebook. Right now, we are 8 weeks in to a 10-week streak of running training 5 days and then having a show on the weekend. And not necessarily having a show at NetPro, but having a show where I'm renting the ring, or I'm renting out the sound system, or I'm doing commentary, or I'm doing anything. So I'm on a 10-week streak right now. And
that's a good streak, though.
It's a great streak, man.
It is.
And I cannot, be careful what you wish for, kids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like they gave, somebody said, and this was before the last 2 months that I've had, because I've literally been busy since September 1st. I've been nonstop, and I thought I was going to get a break October 26th, and the Imperial promoter called me and asked me, "Hey, can you be at my show on October 26th?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can. It's the only free weekend I got." So now I'm full on all the way into November. The second weekend in November is my first free weekend in 2 months.
Wow.
And I'm blown away because a lot of people trust me with stuff, and they know I'll do it right. But word's gotten out, and I'm becoming very popular.
Well, Mr. Jones, we noticed that you're a road warrior, traveling to any and every event, trying to help out where you can, and keeping extremely busy in the process by doing it. Is it simply for the love of professional wrestling, or is it more monetary motivated, or what's going on?
I make no mistake about it. I don't leave the house unless I get paid now. Make no mistake about that. Okay. But also make no mistake about it. I absolutely love professional wrestling. I loved it since I was a kid. I was the kid that would sit in the magazine aisle that everybody had to wheel their shopping cart around, because I would be in the magazine aisle
in the middle. Yeah.
Flipping through wrestling magazines.
We used to do the same stuff. Yeah.
I'd be flipping through the pro wrestling magazines while mom was shopping for groceries. So I've loved it since I was a kid. Didn't always love it as a kid, but I somewhere around 11, 12 years old, I caught Saturday night's main event, and the colorful characters and everything that started getting me into the WWF. And then from the WWF, that started getting me into the Memphis wrestling, which was the Jerry Lawler stuff, USWA, CWA, Power Pro, which was the farm. At one time, it was a farm territory for WWE. So, I mean, it's, I got to see Kurt Angle before everybody else got to see Kurt Angle. So, it's Memphis is steeped in wrestling history. Not so much recently. After Power Pro died, that was kind of the last territory for Memphis and everything. The real last territory was over here, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And once they went away, the territories were just gone. They were gone. The developmental territories, everything was just gone. So,
well, Mr. Joe, that kind of brings us to an interesting point, because we've mentioned about the National Wrestling Alliance, and of course, you've worked closely with them for many years. What has that experience
not for many years. I'll stop you there. Not for many years. 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. But I'll tell you this: it's been the most busiest 2 years I could ever possibly imagine with the NWA. I went on tour with Smashing Pumpkins. We did the wrestling shows in the promenade area of these outdoor amphitheaters, and I did Huntsville, Alabama, We did Tampa, Florida. We did West Palm Beach, Florida. And we did Charlotte, North Carolina. We did these outdoor venues, and we did wrestling shows, NWA wrestling shows with NWA superstars in the promenade area, out near the concession stand. And there's literally just thousands of people in every direction, everywhere you look. And it was just incredible. We hauled the ring around. I drove the ring truck for the entire week. And, you know, you talk about road warriors. We were road warriors on that one.
Yes, sir.
We were road warriors on that one. That drive between West Palm Beach and Charlotte about killed every one of us.
Well, they're bringing back the territory system, and I think that's one of the biggest things that's going on in professional wrestling right now. I mean, you've got Florida's territory with Fight the World. You've got the Missouri territory with Harley Race and World League. You've got NWA Chicago. You've got 2 here in Tennessee currently that are working perfectly. You've got JCP, Joe Kazana Promotions, which is the flagship for them. And then you've also got Crossfire Professional Wrestling, which is a little bit more edgy and has a lot going on with it. And am I missing anybody else, Mr. Jones?
I think you hit all of them at the moment. I've heard rumblings of more coming. I won't say where they are. Right. I have heard rumblings of more territories being formed. But I tell you, one of the greatest, probably one of the greatest nights of my life, and probably one of the most awesome things to ever witness, was the night that JCP turned into NWA JCP. Billy Corgan actually showed up at a JCP show and goes, "It's NWA JCP now." And we were the first territory. We were literally the first territory to be launched into this new territory system. And it was absolutely amazing to witness. I mean, I was literally at commentary with the CEO of NWA for this. I mean, that's how big of a deal it was.
That's got to be huge. I mean, people don't really realize that, but for him to pull out and invest inside the National Wrestling Alliance and invest in the territory system because he believes in it so much, it's going to be a big deal across all of America. Now, we know in the past, the NWA had certain home offices like the Houston office, the Charlotte office, and now it's coming back. Those offices are coming back, and you guys are putting your best superstars everywhere for those territories. So it's not just 1 or 2 here or there. You guys are really rotating them around, and I've got to applaud you because I think that's the best thing that's happening in professional wrestling currently.
Well,
and go ahead.
I'll stop you there with a good point too. And I'll give credit where credit's due. KC Kazana actually came up with this. Okay, is that he started pointing at all the dots on the map where all these territories were, and he looked at it and he said, he's creating a circuit where everybody can just go around and go around and go around on the map and get booked everywhere. And they can get bookings and the normal contracted talent has regular working bookings everywhere. So it's an absolutely great functioning idea, bringing that territory system back to life. And, I have high hopes for it. I really do. I think it's working. I think it's working well the way it's working now, and I see a good future in it too. From the places that I've heard that they're trying to move into too. So it's going to expand. It's going to expand. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get better.
I absolutely believe that. But speaking of the NWA, I know you have a lot of events coming. Is there anyone particular that you're looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to this weekend for sure. Because NWA JCP, they're coming to Kingsport here. They're coming to territory. Let me say that right. Territory. They're going to be here in Kingsport at Net Pro Studios, and doors at 5, bell at 6. We're going to actually be filming a music video.
Wow.
So it's going to be the music video for the Country Gentleman's theme music.
Wow.
But buy the book. It's just like you sing it once, it gets stuck in your head, and it's on repeat. So,
well, Joe was here. Joe was here on Tuesday, and we asked him about that book, and he said we're doing everything by the book. He got his eyes real big, got serious on me. Mm-hmm. So I totally get that reference by the book.
Yeah. So,
that's good.
But NWA main roster production will be in town.
Awesome.
And they'll be filming this music video. So
wow,
there's going to be a lot happening that day with this music video and everything. And part of the music video is going to be filmed during the show. So, you know, when they come out and the Country Gentlemen have their match, they're going to be filming that for the music video. So
there's going to be a
really,
lot.
You know, it's really cool that I can, you know, and you know, they call me and they say, hey, do you have this? And I'm like, yes. Do you have that? Yeah, I've got it all. I've got it all here. Just bring you.
That's all you need. Now, there's going to be a lot of talent there, as you mentioned, from the NWA main roster. Of course, you mentioned the Country Gentlemen are going to be there, but you've got Silas Mason, the Thrillbilly, scheduled to be there. Jeremiah Plunkett is supposed to be there, and he is the new Mid-America Heavyweight Champion. Is that correct?
I am so happy for Jeremiah Plunkett. I mean, that's when his name came up in conversation for as a contender for that, I was immediately like, I actually tagged with Jeremiah Plunkett in Ripley, Tennessee, probably 10 years ago, and I wished we could have made it a nightly thing because you know, it just we flowed together, everything was cool, and I just you know, Plunkett's a good friend. Been a great friend in the business for years. And I'm so proud of him and happy for him that he has that Mid-America title and he's going around to the territories and defend it. Because that's what that title is for. It's defending on the territory specifically. And he's if anybody is a workhorse, it's him. And he can make that title mean something. And I'm extremely proud of Plunkett. I've known him for years. Happy for him. Can't be happy enough for him. It's just awesome that he has that title.
When he won it, we got to wish him well, and I hope that he has the longest reigning title defense in history. But I know he's got a long way to climb, trying to fill the shoes of Dutch Mantell there.
Yep.
But moving forward with him, I think that he's going to be one of the most successful champions that NWA has had in quite some time, especially him being a journeyman. I can't say enough about him. We've met him a couple times.
He will have a big test when he comes here to Kingsport because TNA star Crazy Steve will be his opponent that night. And he's going to have to defend that NWA Mid-American Championship against Crazy Steve. And you mentioned Silas Mason before.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen what they announced? They announced Beast Man as his opponent for the night.
Really?
Yes. So there's going to be a lot of meat in that ring.
That might be one of the biggest tests in the territory for Silas Mason to date.
He's had some big tests. He's had Jay Bradley from the Fixers.
Jax Dane, the last show that they did, he did Jax Dane.
Yes,
and so this is definitely going to be one of the better ones that we've seen so far.
Big Jax Dane. I mean, Silas has knocked down some big boys and has survived some melees and just absolute wars. I thought for a minute Jay Bradley had him, honestly, when
yes, sir. Back in Harriman. Yes, sir.
In Harriman. I thought Jay Bradley had him in Harriman, but he pulled it out, and I was, I was wide-eyed when he pulled it out. I was like, wow, it was pulled out by the skin of his teeth, really.
Well, we could say it's by the skin of his teeth, but he has had help in the past, and we know that from one group called the Southern Six.
Yes.
So we have to see it from both sides, though. I do think he's a great champion, but I don't like the antics that's played with the Southern Six with him. Do you think that will come into play against Beastman?
I tell you what, Southern Six, they're a force to be reckoned with. They've got the Crockett Cup. They won the Crockett Cup this past year. They're making waves, and I know all three of those guys real well. And like you said, there's some annex there, but it's pro wrestling, baby. What can you say? Annex gets the championship sometimes.
Absolutely. And speaking of antics, JCP crowned new tag team champions at the last show. The Blockbusters won the titles, and they will be defending, from what I'm told. Is that correct?
Yes, the Blockbusters. And don't quote me on this because I don't have it directly in front of me.
That's okay.
There's a ladder match happening on Sunday, and I believe that's it. There's a ladder match, and it may or may not be it. I'm not totally sure, but I want to say there's 2, maybe 3. But you can go to the NWA JCP Facebook page and check me on that. But I know for sure there's a ladder match. There's definitely a ladder match that's involving the tag teams. So
that's right. Sunday, October 20th, 2024, at the beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena, 100 Emory Lane in Kingsport, Tennessee, is where this is going to be taking place, guys. You need to get your tickets right now. Ringside's going to be $25. General admission is going to be $15. Is that correct?
Yes, and we do have a link on our Square site right now where you can go ahead and prepay for tickets.
And we're going to put it on the screen from directly to your Net Pro Studio LLCs. If you'll give me just a second to get there. This is Net Pro Studios LLC from Facebook.com. And he has it right here. The link is going to be right here on the left-hand side of the screen once you get there. But this is where you're looking at it. And this is where you want to get your tickets as soon as possible. Correct, Mr. Jones?
That's correct. I appreciate you putting that up there for us.
You're absolutely welcome. It's no problem to do that. Now, we know you're involved there, but also at Innovate Championship Wrestling as well. At Net Pro Studios LLC, you've recently come together to hold a show that was purely donation to the firefighters and families affected of the hurricane in northeastern Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas. It's great to see that professional wrestling is giving back to these communities in such a big way, especially if they've all been devastated in the way that they have been devastated by this disaster. Let's talk about that show, things that have happened and things I'm not mentioning.
Well, when the floods happened, literally 25 minutes that way is flood zone. Elizabethton, Irwin, all that got hit. Carter County got hit hard, of course, over the line into North Carolina. I think they even got hit harder. We actually went into a panic that night because of one of our students who lives in Roan Mountain. We couldn't get a hold of.
Oh, wow.
And so we actually called the Carter County Sheriff's deputies and checked in to make sure she got evacuated. And crazy thing is, she did get evacuated. She got water evacuated. She actually had water evacuated from her house. But house was okay. House wound up being okay. She just went without power for a little while. So I think she counted her blessings on that one, and so did we. But we went around and we checked on everybody and made sure everybody was checking in with us and everything. And but it took her a little bit to check in with us, but I credit to Carter County Sheriff's deputies too. My dogs are barking. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
But credit to Carter County Sheriff's Department on keeping tabs on how many people got evacuated from each house too. Because if I hadn't heard, yes, 3 people were evacuated from that address, I would have been in a panic all night long, wondering, did she get out? And she got out. Everything was cool. But literally within 24 hours, Tony messaged me. He said, "We got to do something." And I was like, "Okay, what do you want to do?" Because all you got to do is say the word with me. And because obviously, we can't just don firefighter outfits or police outfits or rescue outfits and start going out searching for people. We can volunteer and everything all day long, but they don't exactly always need volunteers. What they need is donations. And so we're getting into that now where, it's the temperature's dropping like a rock up here. Okay. And down in Knoxville, it's a little bit warmer, but up here we're in the mountains. And
yes, sir. And it gets cold at night.
Yes.
Yes.
It's getting down to 40 degrees at night. And the need is sleeping bags and charcoal grills and heaters and tents and stuff like that. Stuff to keep people warm at night that want to stay on their property. So, the needs are constantly changing. according to weather, according to, whatever's needed. So, but Tony messages me. He says, "Hey, we got to do something." And I said, "Yeah, we need to do something." He goes, "Let's do a benefit show." Admission is a donation. That's what it's going to be. Admission's a donation. With 5 days notice, we put on a show and we absolutely packed the place. And so, wrestling fans showed up in mass, and we didn't have people just showing up and here's a roll of toilet paper I want to get into. People were showing up because they'd cleaned their closets out of brand new clothes they'd never worn that still had the tags on it. They'd gone and cleaned out bleach and cleaner and dish soap and stuff that that they had stocked up on, and that they're like, we don't need this, take this. The first lady that showed up, her car was full. Her car was full to the brim from the passenger and driver seats all the way back, and she just unloaded onto the trailer, and we did. Our goal was to fill that ring trailer. Our ring trailer is a 16-foot flat trailer. We haul rings around on it, and our goal was to fill that trailer. And we got about halfway through the show, and we had filled the trailer. And
that's awesome.
It was awesome, man. And we took that trailer down to the Bloomingdale Volunteer Fire Department and took all the donations to them. And they went and dispersed the donations and everything. And I know people are saying FEMA's confiscating stuff. FEMA's not FEMA didn't get a hold of that. I know for a fact. So I think their first load they took directly to Mountain City to be dispersed to whoever needed it in the relief camps over there. So and I'm pretty sure that load probably went right behind it. So but yeah, it was amazing to see the community come together. And I love that we're not just a wrestling school. We're not just a place that has events. We're not just a place that has birthday parties and wrestling shows and stuff like that. We're involved in the community, and if we can build ourselves into the community and be a pillar to the community like we have been for the past 2 years, NetPro is going to be around for a long time. It's going to be around for a long time. And, our 3 top arena sponsors are Recovery Resources, Bridge to Shore, which handles abused women. It takes in abused women and gives them a safe place to stay, and Carter County Drug Prevention. So those are our 3 main, sponsors for our arena right now. And, we're a beacon for that too, which is just so much, we're just being that beacon for the community, and I can't say enough about, how that's.
You're the lighthouse on the ocean. Let's call it like that. You're helping people who are lost find their way, and people that are hurt find their way. And you're continuing to do that as well. You have another benefit show scheduled with a couple other groups. Is that not correct?
Yes. I also help. I don't help. Well, I do help in, breaking down the ring and stuff like that and everything. And occasionally participate in shows with Urban Combat Wrestling over in Asheville. And we also, with Pro Wrestling Hype up in the Virginia area. And they called me a couple of weeks ago and said, "Hey, we want to do something specific for Asheville." And I said, "Absolutely, let's do it." Because, there's been plenty of shows I've gone over into Asheville and wrestled on, and Urban Combat. That's my guys, Spaceman Jones and Mook. I love them to death, and we want to do something special for those guys too. Their building that they normally run in, that I actually wrestled in 2 weeks before the flood hit, the floodwaters literally came up to that building right where the garage door is that we load the wrestling ring in and stopped. The rest of the, but it's a big building, so the rest of the building got hit, but it literally came up to those garage doors where they load in and load out the wrestling ring, and it stopped right there. So Asheville got hit hard. Asheville got hit. It's a generational event when something like that wipes an entire town out.
Yes, sir.
And
absolutely.
There's just it's just crazy to think that there's some towns in North Carolina that aren't coming back.
Don't even exist anymore. Right.
They don't even exist anymore. They aren't coming back. And if they do come back, it'll be a miracle. Because it literally, I think Chimney Rock, it took the road, it took the town,
it took everything. It took everything.
So,
and there's a lot of people watching that don't realize that's why we're putting these benefit shows on, and why you're putting these benefit shows on with these other promotions is because it took everything. It took their homes, it took their cars, it took their boats, it took every aspect that they had to get out. All their electricity is down. They have no internet, they have no phone service, they don't have anything. Go ahead.
I wanted to make one more point while I'm thinking about it too. Make sure you go online. Make sure you like Urban Combat Wrestling. Make sure you like Pro Wrestling Hype, because they're going to be doing more benefit shows around Asheville as soon as they get a venue. And I think they're actually working on getting a venue for December or maybe January, depending on how quick they can get stuff turned around over there. So, but a Happy Belly food truck is Spaceman Jones's food truck, and he's out as long as he's taking in donations and he can get the support from the food community over there. He's going out and he's providing free meals, and
that's amazing
wherever he can. And just guy after my own heart, love him to death.
And that's one of the reasons why we want to mention Saturday, November 2nd. They've got an event going on, right, Mr. Jones?
Yes, Saturday, November 2nd.
We're going to put it on the screen right here.
Fight for AVLs, Fight for Asheville. There you see right there, admissions, a cash donation, 100% of all the proceeds from this. This is not like before. I think I spoke before I actually talked to these guys and saying that there was donations given. We're not going to take donations on this one. This is going to be cash donations on this one. So, we'll always take donations. If you guys want to bring stuff to us, we'll always take it over to the Bloomingdale Volunteer Fire Department. If you want to bypass us and just take them straight over to the Volunteer Fire Department, please do that. But this one's going to be cash donations, because we want to make sure the cash goes to Asheville. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to take a trailer load over to Asheville right now because there's so many roads and everything blocked and everything. So it'd be hard to get a trailer over there. So we're just going to do cash donations this time. Cash gets you in the door, and just come on November 2nd. I've got, that's another thing I need to mention too, for the benefit show that happened before. We had a ton of wrestlers show up and donate their time. Not a single guy got paid that night.
Right.
There was a ton of NWA JCP talent. There was a ton of guys from Mountain City area that come from WASP and those other promotions and stuff like that up there. There was guys that were Innovate wrestlers. There was guys that were just from the whole area, and then they came from all over. And they did not want to get paid. They came in, they just wanted to have a good match with somebody and raise donations and show everybody a good time that night. And we did. We had 11, 12 matches that night in 2 hours.
That's a lot. That's a lot of matches.
Wham, wham, one after the other. So. But yeah, I have to say, the wrestling community really stepped up for that last benefit show, and they're stepping up again for November 2nd. So.
Yes, sir. As a whole, the wrestling community has been awesome. We've been a part of Southern Pride Championship Wrestling out of La Follette, Tennessee here recently, and they've been doing some benefit shows as well. And they're going to be doing a benefit show this weekend as well, for donations as well going towards it. And awesome. I've got to say, everybody and their brother that is a part of the wrestling community has been stepping up, and we've been trying to make sure that we're helping in any way possible. There's some people who can only drive. There's some people who can only give something. There's some people who can hand out stuff, and everybody has been there doing it. And there's a lot of people, like you said, that are doing this without getting paid right now because they want to make sure that the donations are going to get to who they need to rightfully. And they want to make sure that all the money and all the proceeds and all the goods are going where they need to be. And that's an excellent thing from the wrestling community. And it's going on with you guys. It's going on with us. It's going on everywhere. And I've got to thank everybody right here who's watching. Thank you guys for making this possible. Without you, this is not possible. You're helping save people's lives and you don't even realize it just by giving your donation, whether it's clothes, whether it's food, whether it's hygiene products, whether it's sleeping bags, whatever it is. You guys make the difference in somebody else's life, and you can do it again. Do it again November 2nd. Come and give a cash donation right there at beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena, 100 Emory Lane in Kingsport, Tennessee, with Mr. Daniel Jones and the fight for Asheville. So, Mr. Jones, we mentioned earlier you run a school out of Kingsport, Net Pro Studios LLC. Would you like to talk about the impact you're having on the kids breaking into the business and what it means to the community down there?
I'm very proud of all my guys. I've been going for 2 years, and I have yet to have a bad apple in the bunch. And they listen. The biggest compliments I've gotten are your guys are respectful and they listen. So, and I think that's two of the biggest compliments you could get for any of the guys that are new to the business.
Yes, sir.
I like I said, I got trained by Nightmare Ken Wayne. And if you go back and you count how many guys are in the business right now that were trained by Nightmare Ken Wayne, there's 3 of them. And my buddy Kevin, who I mentioned, went to FCW. He actually helped WWE move into the Performance Center, and then they let him go shortly thereafter. And I think they missed the bus there. Just going to say that too. So
sometimes it happens.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. And I'll say this too. He got really, really close to being part of the Wyatt family. That's how good he was. So yeah, it missed it by that much. I'll just say that, and really missed out too. WWE did. So he is still in the business. He actually runs a wrestling school over in Rogers, Arkansas. So if you're out in the Arkansas direction, look up Ivan Warsaw and go see him and go see his wrestling school and everything. Guarantee you will not, you won't get the, oh, I'm going to get hit over the head with a chair training. You will get the same training that you're getting from me. So we both got brought up the same way, and Kevin's a lot more hardcore than I am. I'll say that much. But love him and miss him. And there's another guy that is over in Texas, and he's actively wrestling over in Texas, I believe. And then there's me, and that's the 3 guys that are left in the business that my Nightmare Ken Wayne trained. And I believe that makes me unique. I really do, because I don't think anybody else trained like Ken. I am not comparative to Dr. Tom's training whatsoever. And I'm not going to knock Dr. Tom. I think everybody in the wrestling business should go and learn from Dr. Tom at some point in their career. And Doc is actually one of my commentary partners at NWA JCP.
I think I lost you, Daniel. Are you there?
But what makes me different from...
I got you back. Now. You're good.
All right, cool. All right. Internet hiccups, maybe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, all right. But what sets me apart, I believe, is that training from Ken. Ken had some legal troubles and did his, went off and had some legal troubles and everything. And his school went out of operation because of the legal troubles. And I'll leave it at that. But I've adopted the way that he trained me. And I believe that is the way people should be trained. So starting from scratch, I think I can give somebody a great foundation and build them up from scratch. And that, teaching the respect factor, teaching the listening factor, and then coming in and just repetitive, getting the reps in is what they say. Getting the reps in, get the reps in, and just repetitive and repetitive and repetitive, and come in and where it's second nature for you. I teach chain wrestling. A lot of guys don't do that. I teach chain wrestling specifically because it betters your footwork. And there's a lot of chain wrestling that I teach that you're not going to see anywhere else. And I'm a fan of like old school chain wrestling to the point where you have to go back and watch some black and white footage to see what some of the stuff that we're doing. But as far as, if I'm getting through to guys or whatever, I think I'm pretty successful at it. I really do. I think the past 2 years, my students, just the people that have come out of NetPro, I think have spoken volumes. I think it's spoken volumes, their work, and just how eager they are to learn, and how eager they are to get along in the business and everything, and how respectful they are. And like I said, two of the biggest compliments you can ever get is, well, I'll say three of the biggest compliments you can ever get. He can work, he's respectful, he listens. That's three of the biggest compliments you can ever get. So, and I've heard it all about my guys. So
the people who have those three things go far in the business too. Yeah. They just don't stay at little Saturday night. They go everywhere. They work all the time, and they get things. And you have a kid currently that I really want to brag on. He actually had a great showing at the JCP show that you did. Big Deal Bobby Kane.
Yes.
I've got to just say, phenomenal worker, especially for a big guy. You don't expect him to be as agile as he is, and the man can just move. He's just got it. He's got it.
I started on him day one, just trying to do a front roll. I started on him just day one, just trying to do a front roll. And if you can believe it or not, he couldn't do a front roll. He couldn't do a front roll and stand up out the other side. Now he can do 3 front rolls and stand up out the other side all the way across the ring. So yeah, really proud of Bobby. He's come a long way. Again, respectful. The respect factor's there, respectful. He listens, and gets along well with everybody he's in the ring with. Him and Andy Optimal, I thought we were going to have to call an ambulance over at Innovate, man. Him and Andy Optimal like to beat each other stupid.
I think Andy is one of the kings of the strong style, and I believe that he's really trying to keep that style alive in a wrestling business that wants to kill it. So I absolutely would agree with you. The fight that he probably had with Big Deal Bobby Kane was probably something special.
Yeah, Bobby, I don't know if it was because of the yelling later on that he did, and he was trying to cheer on whoever he was cheering on, but he's lost his voice.
Oh.
He lost his voice, and he hasn't been able to talk so well since he got out of that show. So, but it's coming back around. I think I heard a little bit more octaves out of him today. So he came into the school today and checked in. So, but yeah, I'm really proud of Bobby Kane. Really proud of my OGs, my big guns, Xander Hendricks and Charlie Knox. I'm really proud of Z Collins, XZZ. Who we have to try to convince him he's got a stripper gimmick. He doesn't have a stripper gimmick. He comes to the ring and tears his pants off every show. It's like, dude,
you're a stripper. Just call it what it is. That's funny.
So, but all my guys and my gal that recently graduated too, Angel Onyx, she's out and about now. I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of everybody. I said it Sunday. You know, it was Bloody Sunday. It was the proving ground, and we had all the proving ground matches and everything. 7 of the 10 matches on that card had net pro students on them. 7 of the 10. You know, that
speaks volumes. Yeah,
70% of the card had net pro students involved, and you know, not really a bad match on the card at all. Everybody did great, and you know, I'm looking forward to the future of net pro, because if we keep doing it at this rate, we just might change the whole entire eastern Tennessee region with the talent that we crank out. So one thing that sets me apart too, and I'll touch on this and everything, and we can go on to the next question. I am not a promotion. I have said that time and time again. I am not a promotion. I work with promotions. I work with promotions because I want my guys to work on those promotions.
Right.
I want my guys in NWA JCP. I want my guys at Innovate. I want my guys at Imperial. I want my guys everywhere that they can get the reps in and they can get experience. And that's the way a trainer should be. Okay. It shouldn't be, oh, I started a promotion and you only work for me now. I think that's an archaic way of thinking about anything. It's the wrestling business. You're supposed to go everywhere. Okay.
But we were always taught
one spot.
We were always taught contract is a dirty word.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if that still, it sounds like it rings relevant to you, like you believe the same way. But there's a lot of people who don't. They think that they've got to have that big contract in the business to be successful. And that's not true at all. You don't have to have the big contract.
Matt Cardona's already proven
exactly.
That
yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I absolutely agree with you 100% on this. Mr. Jones, if anybody is watching out here, that would like to break into the business, would you like to give them any advice whatsoever? And why should they choose Net Pro Studios LLC?
I'll say this: find a school with a reputation. Find a school with a good reputation. Reputation is everything in this business. Ask around, ask questions, ask if somebody's been to, ask if somebody's been to Nightmare Factory. Okay. I'm not picking on Nightmare Factory. I love Cody. I love QT Marshall. I love all those guys. I'm not picking on one. I'm just using it as an example. It's like, ask somebody that's been to Nightmare Factory. Is Nightmare Factory good? Ask somebody that's been to Doc. Is Doc good? Everybody knows Doc's good. Ask around for reputations. Okay. Ask a wrestler. Okay. Ask a wrestler who's good. Ask a wrestler who you're a fan of and that you think is a good wrestler. Where do you think I should go? Net Pro, I will give you a great start. I promise you. You will learn stuff from me that's not taught everywhere. And I will give you a great start. I'll give you a great foundation and everything. It's funny because I actually had a conversation like this over the phone with a guy from Florida who called me from Florida on our business line. And he talked with me for 30 minutes and he goes, where do I need to go? Where should I go? It was like, and I was like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to spend $3,000? Have you got $3,000 to spend? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that and everything? And we kind of went through the info a little bit and everything with him. And by the end of it, he's coming from Florida. I was like, are you willing to move? Do you want to move? Do you want to go to OVW? Because OVW has a TV production that is weekly. That's some of the stuff you got to take into consideration.
Absolutely.
So, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to OVW? Want to be on TV? Do you want to go to Nightmare Factory where they've got everything all inclusive? Last time I looked at Nightmare Factory, they had a gym and a nutrition program and all kinds of stuff they could put in with your training. So they teach you, the full circle of everything. So with me, I can give people a good start and I can go from there, and I'll be the first to admit, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. Let me say it a third time. I don't know everything.
Mr. Jones, it's the people who think that they know everything that are actually teaching a lot of people wrong.
Yes.
And so for you to at least admit that you don't know everything, that gives everybody the honesty that they need to know up front that if you don't know it, at least you're going to try to find out and try to help them in any way possible.
And we've got a big projector screen in the school over there that, you know, you see it shows and everything. We put the ads and stuff like that up there, and I'll go searching through YouTube and just find stuff and put it up there, and we'll watch matches. We'll do all kinds of stuff. If we can't figure out how to do something, we will very shortly figure out how to do something. So, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, like I said, if I feel like my opinion's not enough, you know, if I'm at a show, I got Doc right next to me.
right, exactly.
And I'm like, ask him. So yeah, and you know, Doc's always a good source of information. So, but yeah, I feel like, my biggest recommendation has always been get a start somewhere, but don't feel like you have to stay there. Get a start somewhere, but don't feel like you have to stay there, because, you know, you can go and, you know, learn from Billy Bob how to bump in the backyard somewhere. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But you come to me, it's professional training. I promise you it's professional training. And we go through it step by step. I have an entire sequence I go through. The first 2 or 3 weeks, nobody's probably going to even touch you. You're going to beat yourself up.
Right.
So, you know, and you can come to me to get a good start. You can come to me to get a good start. If your goal is to eventually train with Dr. Tom, come to me, get a good start. Boom. You go to Dr. Tom, you learn advanced techniques. Because Doc, he knows what level you're on, and he might step back and work on other stuff too and everything. And, you know, he might correct some of the stuff that I put up. But, you know, everybody trains a different way. Everybody trains a different way. I'll say that too.
It never hurts to have that friend in the business too. Mm-hmm. So because somebody might come to you and train with you, and then, like you said, they might want to move to Dr. Tom, and Dr. Tom can do a reference check. Is this kid going to listen? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? And if you give him the okay, he's going to be more apt to help you a lot more than somebody who doesn't listen, is not coachable, is not negotiable. And so that makes a big difference, having that extra connection inside the business and knowing somebody as well. You mentioned something earlier. You said that you had 3 different classes, but there was something that I wanted to ask you because it kind of hit me in mid-sentence. So you said you had a beginner, and intermediate, and advanced, but do you also offer referee courses as well?
Yes. Referee, commentator. So our referee courses are $300 for 6 months, and you get unlimited access for 6 months and everything. Our trainer is OVW referee Shane Chess, who you've seen on the Netflix series Wrestlers. And we also have Hunter Sharp. She's around on a lot of the independent shows and everything. She's one of my girls that I've trained, and she's actually just got hired on as a referee for OVW as well. She starts in November. So
congratulations, Hunter.
That when I got to jump out of my skin. So, because I know, you know, so I try not to get emotional on things, you know, but when you see someone work for 6 years, you know, and just plug away at it and plug away at it and plug away at it and plug away at it, and you know, you can ask both of Nova and since day one, I told them, I said, there's going to come a point when you get good enough. All I've got to do is just get you in front of the right people. And this past month, that happened. This past 2 months, that happened. Because Nova and Hunter both, OVW, and OVW was like, yeah, we want them. Come on for this. And so, yeah, OVW stuff, it's going to lead to bigger and better things.
Mr. Jones, I believe I've lost you one more time. I believe the internet is having some issues. Are you back with me now? I'm getting some audio here and there. Where you left off, you said, I've got to get you in front of the right people.
Multiple.
Are you there, sir? That's okay.
But yeah, there's what I told both of them.
I've lost him. I'm going to try to bring him back. Give me just a second. I'm going to get him back on here, and we'll get him right back up. Mr. Jones, are you with me?
Got me.
I got you. I got you now. So where you left off, you said you're going to get good enough to get in front of the right people, and then it okay. Emptied out. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, we told both the girls was there's going to come, you get good enough. All I've got to do is just get you in front of the right people. And that happened. And it happened over the past 2 months at their pay-per-view in Pikeville and OVW. And they went to the buildings, they exactly what they were told and knocked it out of the park. And, they came to hunt. They wanted Riley back, and excuse me, Nova.
That's okay.
They wanted Nova back, and yeah, it's just been off to the races since then. But yeah,
that's excellent though, because now not only do you have students who are going, oh, I lost him again, but he's got students that are going to bigger and better places. Are you there, Mr. Jones?
There we go.
All right. So you've got students who are going to bigger, better places, and it's not only putting their name out there in the business, but they get to tell their stories of where they started, what they went through, who trained them, and that's an excellent thing for you, sir.
Yes.
So I've got to say, that's just excellent for Net Pro Studios LLC. And you mentioned pricing earlier. You said that it was $300 for the ref course for 6 months. What are your beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses and commentator courses cost?
Commentator's the same as the manager courses.
Okay.
I say commentator, manager, and referee are the exact same. They're $300. Okay. 6 months of unlimited access for $300. And we'll come in, we'll put you through the motions of all three positions. The beginner course is $600 total. I do a $300 deposit on it, and from there, we pay out as you see fit. A lot of it's telling me connection lost again. Am I good?
You're good. I got you. I've got you right here.
Okay. All right. It's popping and telling me connection lost again. So, it's $600. To be honest in this is you don't pay anything more until you graduate. And to graduate from beginner,
Mr. Jones, it just lost you. Let me drop
in front of people.
Let me drop it and pull you back in. I'll be right back with you. I'm so sorry about this, guys. In this meantime, we're going to take a small little break and bring Daniel Jones back in. If you guys will bear with me, I'll make sure that we get him in here. We have had a great conversation with him so far, and here he comes back. So you started with Mr. Jones. Are you there? All right. I've got you on camera. There we go. So you left off at intermediate courses is where it left you off at, and it bounced you out.
Okay. It might bounce me out again. Let's see.
I hope not.
Okay. You still with me?
Yes, sir. I've got you audio. I've got you audio. Your video is a little shaky, but it's coming in. It's starting to come in focus. I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to give you a new link, and we're going to bring you back in. Give me just a second. All right, Mr. Jones, are you there? If it drops you again, I'm going to get you a new link, and we're going to get you set up, and we're going to get you right back in here.
Okay. If it drops again, I'll tell my kids to get off the internet.
No problem.
So yeah, intermediate course. Okay. So we go for beginner, 600 total. What keeps me honest on the 600 total is you don't pay anything past the 600 until you graduate from beginner.
Right.
Graduate from beginner, you have to have a 5-minute match in front of people. Okay. That's the way I graduated from beginner. That's the way everybody else is going to graduate from beginner. So 5-minute match in front of people. Past that, you go to intermediate. We do more moves. We do more psychology. You'll do stuff off the ropes. You'll do stuff, different things. More psychology, more longer matches. I've run for my big guns, my OGs, and told them to graduate from intermediate to 30-minute match. So from 1,000. So you got 600, you got 1,500, and you got 1,000. Grand total, you're going to dollars.
All right, Mr. Jones, it dropped you.
All of them. So
it dropped you right then when you said the grand total.
Usually where I stick people. Grand total $3,100.
$3,100. Okay.
But you're not going to pay all that up. Mm-hmm. From there,
right? It's going to be over time through the course of your progression. I believe that we have lost him. Mr. Jones, I will try to get you back as soon as possible, sir. If you will give me just a minute, I've sent you a brand new link if you're still out there, and I will get you on. Just click on that link and it'll bring you directly up, sir. As we wait, guys, this is a perfect time to plug what microphone we're using here currently on the show. I'm using the red version of this microphone right now. I do have the black version in Studio A. We're in Studio B tonight. You can get the best microphone in the business. All you have to do is call AJ3aver today at Sweetwater. His number is 800-222-4700, extension 1325. Definitely give him a call today. Definitely get something going good for you. Also, how we keep our lights and water on both of the studios is by this. Scan that QR code and make a donation to us today. We'd love to have that through Streamlabs or Stream Elements, either one, whichever one that you decide to donate to. Scan either of those QR codes and give on to us today. We would love to have you come on in. And we also sell merchandise as well at Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. Scan that QR code, come on in, be a part of it. Our merchandise one is right here for you guys. We'd love to have you come on out and be a part of it with us. I'm working patiently to get him in, to get him back here. So if you guys will just bear with me, I'm trying to get Mr. Daniel Jones back as we speak. I do apologize about our technical difficulties today. I do apologize about all of our technical difficulties today as we wait for him to come on back in. We have just a few more questions for him tonight, but I'm definitely here trying to make sure that we're getting everything going. Here he comes. He's resetting everything. He said just to give him just a second. And to reiterate on some of the stuff that we have previously gone over, guys, today. If you look right here, he's going to be having some shows. Territory for NWA JCP is going to be coming back with him right there at the beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena, 100 Emory Lane, Kingsport, Tennessee. It's going to be Sunday, October 24th. And as you see, oh my God, there's so much stuff going on right there. It's going to be a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You guys definitely got to come out Sunday and have some fun with us right there at none other than beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena at 100 Emory Lane. Kingsport, Tennessee is where it's going to be at. The doors are going to be opening at 5 p.m. The bell time is going to be at 6 p.m. It's going to be an excellent show. Mr. Jones is back. Let's get him in here. Mr. Jones, I am so sorry about this.
No, that's probably me.
I've got you perfect now. We were just reiterating about the territory system here, but we were also asking you whenever you left about the total cost. You said it was total about $3,100, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's $3,100. It's
go ahead.
Let me just go through the whole thing again.
Sure.
$600 for beginner. It's $1,500 for intermediate, and it's $1,000 for advanced. So grand total, you're going to pay $3,100. You're not going to pay all that up front, though.
Right.
Okay. Most you're going to pay me at one time is $300, and then from there you go and you pay out what you owe from there. We're going to stop at $600 though until you graduate from beginner. Then once you graduate from beginner, we start paying on intermediate. So that keeps me honest. That keeps me honest on what I say I'm going to do. So I feel like that's a better system than everything up front, and because not everybody knows me. Let's face it, not everybody knows me. That's all there is to it. All I've got is my reputation. So, but that's pretty much it. I've had plenty of guys come in and they've paid the $300. They last about 2 days, and then I never see them again. And then, I've had guys, come in and stick with me for 2 or 3 months and just call and tell me, hey, you know what? I don't think wrestling's for me. And totally understand. So it's it's a wild mishmash of all kinds of personalities and everything that we get. And but it's great. It's great because I'm a people person. So I love it when people come to me and want to train. I love it when people come to me for advice. Even if you're not one of my students, please come to me for advice. I will give you a dead honest opinion.
and you're extremely personable. You are approachable at any event that you're at, as long as you're not working at the desk or working during the show. Mm-hmm. You're extremely approachable before, after the event, whatever's going on. Yeah. Definitely come and see Mr. Daniel Jones. Be a part of this.
Don't walk up during the commentary.
Right, absolutely, sir. You'll get sent away. That will.
I'm going to be talking in the microphone
going. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I had to do a lot of.
All right, Mr. Jones. I think that's going to about cover it for today. Let's reiterate about the shows that are going on. First, we've got Sunday going to be happening right here, October 20th, 2024, the JCP show that's going to be taking place at beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena. And it's going to be an excellent time for everybody that's out there. Ringside seats are going to be $25. General admission is going to be $15. The bell time is going to be at 6 p.m. The doors are going to be opening at 5 p.m. for you. And that's at Net Pro Studios, LLC, 100 Emory Lane, right there in lovely Kingsport, Tennessee. And then we're going to be doing the fight for Asheville. Is that correct? November 2nd. The doors are going to be opening at 6 p.m. The bell time is going to be 7 p.m. Now, this show is a cash donation only show, guys. So come on in, bring cash, make sure that you're seeing some good wrestling and having fun. The proceeds are going to be going to who?
Directly to Asheville. Directly
to Asheville and the victims of the hurricane that was taking place there. We definitely want to do that. Also, we've got a night of grudges for Innovate Championship Wrestling. Doors are going to be opening at 6:30. The bell time is going to be at 7:30 right there at beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena at Net Pro Studios, LLC, 100 Emory Lane in Kingsport, Tennessee. And tell us about that one a little bit. Well, we got it going on.
Good to see me wrestle.
Yeah.
I didn't get a match for my 40th birthday, and it's not even my birthday, and I'm 46 now, so I guess I get a match now. So yeah, but it's going to be me and Nova Fury taking on the faction, Jeff Baker and Jeff Conley.
Ooh, that's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, very interesting match. They got in the ring and they tried to break Nova Fury's arm at the last Innovate show. So I came out there for the save, and wouldn't you know it, Tony made a match, so I guess I get to get in the ring after all for Innovate. So, but yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think that one's going to be a good show too. So
I think it's going to be an excellent. And then we reiterated about your school as well. I'm going to put that on the screen for them as well, so they can see where to go right there. If you notice right here on the screen, he's got training ages 18 plus for men and women. Sundays 1 through 5 p.m., Monday through Thursday 6 through 10 p.m. 100 Emory Lane, Kingsport, Tennessee. And you can get a hold of them right there at netprostudios@gmail.com. You can find them on Facebook, find them on Instagram. And is there anywhere else that they can find you, sir?
The best responses are through email and through the Facebook page. I get a lot of messages through the Facebook page. So anytime you guys want to send us a message on there, and I'm usually right there answering all the Facebook messages, or me or my wife. So,
Mr. Jones, I have one more question for you before we go. Do you have any merchandise for sale?
We're working on it. Okay. Along with everything else, we're working on it. But yeah, I am working on trying to get some Net Pro shirts available. We may go the Pro Wrestling Tees route. I haven't really decided yet. But definitely working on getting some Net Pro shirts available probably within the next couple of months. Good stocking stuffer for the holiday season.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Mr. Jones, thank you so much for your time here today. We're all out of time. I would love to have you come back if you're available in the future. It'd be our pleasure to have you here.
I'd love to be back. Good conversation. Good conversation.
Absolutely. Do you have any last words for anyone watching right now?
Well, I want to tell everybody, if you've got a dream, go for it. Go for it. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I'm happy. Okay. There's no substitution for what's happened to me for the past 2 years. There's no substitution for it. I'm happier than I've ever been because I'm working for myself, and I can't say enough about, just being able to do this. If you'd have told me 16 years ago that I'd have my own school, I'd have my own building, I'd have my own venue, and, we'd be doing all the things that we're doing, I'd have called you a liar. If you'd have told me I'd be best friends with downtown Bruno, I'd have called you a liar. If you'd have told me I'd be, collecting donations and donating them to a hurricane relief, all this stuff, if you'd have told me all of this stuff is going to happen, if you'd have walked up to me when I was sitting in the middle of that grocery aisle looking at a wrestling magazine
yeah,
and go, "Hey kid, you know what? You're going to work for the NWA one day," I'd have called you a liar. I would have, but I've been in the ring with Bill Dundee. I've been in the ring with Bobby Eaton. I've been in the ring with, just countless other people, and just had the time of my life, and it's like you said before, you don't have to have a big contract to be happy.
Right. You don't.
Just once you know you're there and you're doing what you love, it makes all the difference in the world. So
I can attest to that. So we'd been out of the wrestling business, me and my wife, for about 5 years. And we got a call one day from Dr. Tom, and he said, "Joseph, what are you doing?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was, "Nothing." "What do you need me to do, Dr. Tom?" And he goes, "You talk too good not to do something with your mouth." And that's what he told me. And it would just hit me. Boom. I got to do something. I got to get back in and do something. Mm-hmm. And in 6 months' time, it's been, can you come here? Can you go here? Can you take videos of this? Can you take pictures of that? Can you host this? Can you do that? And it's just an awesome ride. Yeah. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't give it away. And I know you wouldn't either, sir. So Thank you guys for being here tonight with us, with my esteemed guest, Mr. Daniel Jones. I'm going to have you back sometime. We'll set that up at a later date.
I'll make sure you're connected, man.
Hey, you know this from working in the wrestling business. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong eventually, and you just got to make changes on the fly sometimes. And that's just what happens. So we're okay. This is going to be fun. Don't worry about it. The next time we'll have better connection, and we'll definitely be able to do this all the way through. So thank you, Mr. Daniel Jones, for being here. I appreciate you. And thank you guys for watching today. That's going to conclude our show, Wrestle Talk with Rabid Beaver tonight. And remember, guys, you heard it here first, and go and get slammed somewhere. Bye, guys.